right, ride number 2. Like Mark picked me up. What's up, Mark?
Yo, what up? How you doing?
Doing fantastic, man. I just flew in from Hawaii. I'm hitching up to Craig. I was gonna take a bus back to Denver and give up hitchhiking and then just get a bus up to Craig, but I kept going. Here I am in the car.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens, huh?
Yeah. Have you ever picked up a hitchhiker before?
I do it quite often.
Nice.
Like anytime I have space in my car. A lot of times I'm in a company car, so I can, but if I'm on my own, I got space, like, I trust most people, which, you know, it doesn't usually bother me to trust a random stranger every once in a while. Like, feel you out from the first 5 words, and, you know, you seem nice enough, yeah, I'll pick you up.
That's
Take
awesome.
you as far as I'm going. We're both headed that way. I might as well help you out, you know?
Oh, that's so cool. It really helps build my faith. I feel like the energy I build while hitchhiking, like, the more faith I have in people, the more rides I get, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like self-fulfilling.
Have you ever, like, met people who were rude about it? Like, or you got in and they were like, I don't know, it feels like a nice person is usually the one to pick you up.
Yeah.
But have they ever flipped on you at any point?
I've had people, like, I've had someone steal money from me that picked me up.
Oh.
They're trying to sell me weed, but then they just took off with the weed and the money. He was shady. I should have sensed it.
Yeah.
He, like, left me by the border of California and Oregon in the middle of the forest.
Oh. I mean, I guess when you're, like, hitchhiking, you're trusting that person picking you, like, it's a mutual trust here too, right? Like,
yeah.
I know a lot of people are afraid of it, but, like, my grandpa told me stories all the time, like, when they were growing up, anyone who had their thumb out needed a ride. They needed something you were already doing.
Yeah, it was a lot more.
Well.
It was a lot more romanticized back then, but I'm trying to take it back.
Let's get on to
So where are you headed? You told me earlier. What are you up to right now?
Yeah, so I am on my way to play ultimate frisbee with a bunch of cool people in Breckenridge.
So what do you get out of ultimate frisbee? What's your favorite things that you get out of it?
Well, there's a great community. Everyone who I've met playing, like, has become a good friend. Most of my best friends in college, we're all still best friends, and we started playing ultimate frisbee together, and it grew from there.
Cool.
And then I get exercise, which, like, I'm not one for cardio. I know a lot of people aren't, but ultimate is just like field sprints. But something inside my head forgets that when I'm chasing a frisbee. I don't know if I'm like part dog or something, but like the moment the frisbee's out in front of me and I'm running with a purpose and like hanging out with cool people, I'll run miles. But you couldn't convince me to just go for a run at any point in time in my life.
Were you sporty growing up?
Yeah, I played, half and half. I'm a pretty big nerd too, so like ultimate and disc golf are my 2 big outdoorsy things. I ski in the winter, snowboard. Growing up, I played ultimate and disc golf, but I was in marching bands. Like, that was my PE credit. I wasn't like a high school track star or anything.
Yeah, I was in orchestra, don't worry. Kindred spirits.
Yes.
So, why Breckenridge?
Well, they actually are the closest, like, large group. Sometimes I go to Denver, but they don't have anything in Denver on Wednesdays, which is weird. And I found this group because I was in Denver looking to play some ultimate frisbee. No one said anything, and one guy in Breckenridge, like, he told me later it was almost a joke when he said it, but he's like, we're playing in Breckenridge. Which is kind of far away, which is why it was a joke.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a joke to me because I really wanted to play. I wanted to find some cool people to play it with. And because I live in Winter Park, it was not that far out of my way to go home. So
that's awesome.
So that's why Breck. And there's some pretty cool people, some good views. I like it.
Cool. Yeah, I've never been. This is actually all new territory to me.
Nice.
When I lived here, I only made it up to Idaho Springs back then.
Idaho Springs. So you never skied or anything?
Not here. No, I was here for a short time. I was here basically for 3 months. Then the lockdown happened, and then I bounced out.
Wow, that's some unfortunate timing.
Yeah, I just got lined up at like the best job I've ever had. Bartending at the Denver airport, and yeah, whatever. That's life.
Yeah, I mean that is, and now you're doing this. Like, it's only led to good things, but like, I can imagine being 3 months into a job and then being like, well, sorry.
Yeah.
I know you like it, but we're shut down. You got to do something else.
How did everything affect you during like the lockdown?
COVID was a bit of a ride. I was working in Winter Park as a ski instructor, ski bumming it up. But I had a pretty good job. It was year-round ski bum job. In the summers, I whitewater rafted and things like that.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, the resort and everything shut down. And I was supposed to actually leave to move to Florida with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And once the season ended, that was the goal. Move to Florida, do Florida things.
Which part of Florida? I love Florida.
Orlando.
Cool.
She had a pretty cool job at Disney World that we were moving there for.
Kissing me.
But COVID happened, everything shut down. We went home to Texas, where both of our families are, back home, and picked up some odd jobs. I worked at the grocery store that I worked at for my very first job. So COVID sent me all the way back to the start, which is just kind of a weird thing to think about, because like the path I've gone since COVID and since going from the job that I got as my first job to where I'm at now, like I love what I do now. Like COVID has been a really good thing.
Yeah.
But at the time it felt pretty bad. Like going back to work at the same job I had when I was 16. That's the job I got during COVID.
How do you think you grew the most, or what were your favorite parts of having had to go through all that we went through?
I think just kind of looking back and recognizing that even though in the moment it kind of sucked, the things that I was doing to make it through those times were perfectly setting me up for where I'm at now, which is exactly kind of where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know? So like, that's where I've had the most growth, is just being able to look back and have more appreciation and understanding for the trials and tribulations in life because of what they give you in the end should you get through them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like you've, did you pick up any new hobbies in the meantime, or?
I started playing more Dungeons and Dragons.
No way, that's so cool. I was about to start my own game recently.
You should.
I just read all the books. It was so sad because I decided to come and do this on a whim.
Yeah.
My landlord was going to like basically renovate the apartment and have the owner's friends move in. So I had to bounce out, and rather than get a new place, I came here. But I had just finished reading up on the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster's Manual, the Player's Handbook,
oh, so you got
Xanathar's Guide,
Xanathar's
Guide to Everything, and Tasha's
Cauldron.
Yeah. So I had all of that, and I was even tempted to like bring it here and try to find people on the road to play with. But I'm like, I can always do theater of the mind and just find a PDF.
Yeah, exactly. And like honestly, like having technology, there's so much like free resources out there. Like I started a group. I have a group that I play in and a group that I DM for, and that's like been our thing that started since COVID. We've only been playing for the last couple of years. We've always had an interest, but there's so many like free resources out there that like at any point in time on my phone, I have a Google Drive of like 200, 300 different one-shot adventures and stuff that I can just make into a story at any point, which is pretty fun. So that's why I've started playing even more.
I have a Google Drive, or I could add to your Google Drive, and I paid like maybe like $50 total for a bunch of PDFs where it's like you basically print out cardstock and you make some really good like barrels and like outdoor landscape and trees that they can hide in the trees, like chests and like all that stuff. Even a way to make a whole tavern with the walls and everything out of cardstock. You just print it out with cardstock and then just cut it out. And yeah, dude, I can. We'll figure out a way if you're interested. I can send that your way.
Yeah, I'm always looking for more D&D resources.
Cool. What's your favorite part about D&D?
I think just the silliness and like just way to express yourself. I think it's a neat kind of therapeutic tool too. The better you get at putting yourself in the shoes of the character you made, I think the more empathetic you can be, because you're training your brain on how to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see it from their point of view.
I like that.
So there's a lot of like neat things about that are really cool. But I also just like the silliness and the fun that can be had. There's a D&D podcast out there called Dungeons and Daddies.
No way, that's funny.
And another one called Not Another D&D Podcast. And both of them are like live play D&D. And the people who are doing it are doing awesome things and are really funny and just really make the game come to life in a way that's like really entertaining. If you're driving somewhere, you're walking, or if you're at work and
going to jump topics, but have you ever heard of the Rainbow Gathering?
I have a little bit because originally you guys were supposed to meet in Grand County.
Yeah, they were going to go. They're going to go towards Gransby.
Yeah.
And then they were going to go towards like Durango and Telluride.
Right.
But you know what the factor was?
What's that?
They need a place that's green on fire. There's so much fire restriction all over Colorado.
Right.
The only spot they could find where it wasn't a danger to the forest, because they have done them without the fire, but the fire's the main part because it's the center earth fire that everyone gathers around, and it's HEAR, just so you don't think I'm making up some weird word.
No, you're okay.
Earth fire, that's where they all do the like drum circles and dance around it. So, you know, you don't need the fire, but again, like cooking for 10,000, you know, for 80,000 people in the woods, like
yeah, you're gonna need some method of getting heat to food.
Yeah, so that's why they chose Craig, and Craig's not too happy.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely negative things in town in the newspaper, things going around, like just alerting people that there was going to be a significant influx of people into the valley. Yeah, so I've heard of you guys a little bit, and you're a little infamous.
Yeah.
Just a little, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's stories. From one thing I heard, and I don't really know the truth. I heard that basically like 30 years ago plus, they wrote a report on like the dogs spreading whatever, being left loose, kids being left, all this stuff. But every year since then, the feds will go around and distribute it as if it happened last year.
Oh.
But it was like over 30 years ago.
Wow.
So like those types of things, sadly enough, they happen. But you know, not to like defend them, but you get 80,000 people together, you're gonna have, especially in all, they're so inclusive, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So like the majority of people are like, you know, they're all about the earth. But you're gonna get some people that just, that don't.
That don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're getting that many people together, people are watching. You know, people are trying to understand what it is. It is a little sad though that, and I don't put it past our government per se to do that. I don't put it past the feds to be trying to stomp out, metaphorically, the fire you guys have.
Yeah, that could. I mean, it also could be untrue too, but I don't know. Yeah. Hey, I see we're coming up on Silverthorne, huh?
Yeah. So I'm
gonna check the maps quick. I'm gonna let you go. Sorry to cut the interview off. All weird jump topics.
It's great to meet you, Jeremiah. Yeah. Everyone out there.
Mark.
Keep following this guy. Pretty cool.
Thank you, Mark.